Show kindness and gratitude to all, especially the elderly. Old age is an inevitable stage that you too will reach should death not claim your body sooner. During this difficult phase, strength diminishes, organs weaken, memories fade, and physical and emotional dependency sets in. The presence of the elderly may be wearisome. However, they have a wealth of experience to offer in return for the resources you can provide.
Thank you, Alice. Now, Leo.
Be kind to children. They need the opportunity and love to succeed. These citizens in the making do not know the struggles that lie ahead. Offer them kindness and transmit to them your trust in the humankind that you represent. Don't frighten or mistreat them. Anyone who saw that little boy in Nazareth long ago playing without care amongst other children never could have imagined that he was the architect of earth, our model and guide.
Thank you.
Still good morning, everyone, and welcome to Spirited Society of Virginia. And before I read this message, I thought I would mention that little April read the message. And guess what I picked out this morning? The same message. The presence of the older person may seem tiresome. However, he is rich in experience, which he can offer to you, but in need of the resources that you can provide.
That's for you.
That's
For you.
for me.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, well, I thought it was interesting how she read the same message. Okay, we will get started. We picked out, they helped me pick out, number 69 from Living Spring. It is Emmanuel's message through Chico. And the New Testament quote is from Paul, first letter to the Corinthians, chapter 15, verse 58. Therefore, my dear brothers, be firm and constant, always abundant in the Lord's work, knowing that your toil is not in vain. Then Emmanuel wrote, many people believe that embracing the faith entitles them to unproductive ecstasy under the pretext of ensuring the illumination of their soul. Many hearts flee the daily struggle, locking themselves up in the sanctuary of the home amidst vigils of worship and profound thinking about the divine mysteries. They forget that the whole of life is God's universal creation. Faith means vision. Vision means understanding and the ability to help. Those who have entered the spiritual land of truth have found in work a great blessing. Neither the Lord nor his disciples lived only in contemplation. Yes, they did pray, for no one can live without the inner shower of silence to renew their strength in the superior currents of sublime energy coming from the heavenly fountainhead. Prayer and reflection are the subtle lubricant in our machine of daily experiences. It is important to realize, however, that the Lord and his disciples struggled, served, and suffered in the active cultivation of the good, and that the gospel entails constant toil for all those who adopt its principles of salvation. Accepting Christianity means renewing oneself for the higher realms, and only the environment of service can restructure the spirit and sanctify its destiny. Invariably preemptory in his warnings and admonishments, Paul of Tarsus, writing to the Corinthians, pointed out the need for our firmness and constancy in the endeavor of spiritual evolution, so that we may be abundant in worthy actions for the Lord, helping others, creating joy, harmony, and hope, opening new horizons to a higher kind of knowledge, and making life better wherever we are. comprises the ministry of all those who have devoted themselves to the good news. Let us seek the pure waters of prayer to soothe our hearts, but let us not forget to use our emotions, our reasoning, our hands for the progress and improvement of ourselves, of everyone and everything, knowing that Jesus needs industrious workers to build his kingdom on the entire earth. I don't think I need to add anything to this.
So before we pray, let's remember nothing we do here is a ritual. It's not a ritual. Everything we do is reasoned. We know why we do it. But think about a prayer. What is a prayer? Do you have a celebrity that you'd like to meet one day? Yes, you do. Who's that? You would like to share, Sophia? No? But you do, right? Or somebody you admire so much, you say, oh, I wish I could go and talk to this person. Is there anybody like that? That for us is God. More than anybody. So that's the excitement now of when we pray, we feel the joy. Imagine the one that created the whole universe and still creating, expanding, expanding, expanding. At his thought, he's creating. And here we are communicating with him. What a joy. So let's feel this joy and the honor to talk with God together. That makes a difference. Let us feel his supreme intelligence, supreme love. Oh Lord of life, Father, Mother of all of us. What a blessing to talk with you, to know that we don't need anybody else to directly talk with you, to understand that you know us so deeply. Today, we want to feel closer to you. Life is so much better with you. And when we think life is without you, it's just an illusion. There's no life without you. So why do we worry so much if you are taking care of everything? And all we need to do is fulfill our daily duties with love and peace. Feeling your embrace, we visualize your messengers, the spirit doctors, nurses, and therapists who are here. The spirit educators, teachers, who are kindly devoting themselves in your name to helping us progress. We feel your embrace, the joy of this moment. And with your permission, we begin this therapeutic educational service of today. And so be it. Okay, Mr. Narciso is helping us with the light. Meanwhile, before we go to our rooms, I want to share a special guest who's here with us. She was going to come in person, but we're going to reschedule for her in presence. Okay? She's in Miami. She's a great friend. Hold on, Angela, because I'm gonna. How are you? Okay, hold on. Hey, they're just seeing you. Yes. Can we hear you? No, we have to. Yes, say hi, Angie. Can you hear?
Hey, Vanessa, super happy to be here.
Hi to everybody. Okay, no, not yet. Hold on. The camera just turned. Gosh, these cameras playing a trick on us. Yes. Now you're going to be able to see friends. More friends. Say hi. Say hi to Angie.
Hey,
Yes.
Yay!
Baby Livia can't see you, but she can hear you in her dreams. Yes, Angie's here with us. Angy Stewart. I met her almost 2 decades ago. Yes. And she's still looking beautiful and young. She doesn't get old because her heart is immense. I met her in New York, and she's one of the founders of the Inner Enlightenment Spiritist Center that exists in Manhattan with a group of friends. They created that center at the same time that we did create a group in Virginia. So we're sister centers. Yes, we created it the same year, and she worked very hard with friends in that center till she had to move to Miami. And you think she stopped? No way. She continued. She opened another center, the Miami Inner Light Center, and she has been working there. And past the pandemic, everything was revived, and she's working there with friends as well. So if you pay a visit to Miami, it's a great place to pay a visit. Everything is getting back to normal there after the pandemic because, I don't know if you know, but in the Spiritist movement, many things changed. Some centers closed, others are still online, but the Miami Inner Light Center is very presential, right, Angie?
Yes, yes.
And now you're doing a campaign for the brothers and sisters. We participated in one here, but if you want to share a little bit about the campaign for those who were displaced tragically in the south of Brazil, would you like to share the campaign?
Yes, yes. Our center here is all in English, so we have a lot of Americans, and as we know, Americans are extremely charitable. So on 2 weeks ago on a Sunday, I had just completed the loving bags for the unsheltered here in Miami, and we delivered 300 bags to the unsheltered. And then when I returned in the afternoon, some friends start talking about what happened in Brazil, and I wasn't fully aware because I don't have any Brazilian TV, I don't have anything. And when I finally searched on Google, YouTube, I was devastated, and I said, we need to do something. And then I had just finished collecting items to the homeless. I started collecting items to send to Brazil because we had a contact to Azul Airlines, and then they said, we are going to be delivering in 2 weeks to Brazil, and we can collect. So I started collecting, and so I show you the video that we collected like 50 gigantic bags, 4 full trucks that deliver. But then I still continue receiving, and now I have another huge amount that we are gonna pack as soon as I finish. The volunteers are coming to my house, and we are gonna pack again. And we have to separate because it has to be extremely organized, although they are not going to receive there. But we are doing it. And even if it's so little to people that lost absolutely everything, it's a little bit, it's a token of love. Every piece of clothes, shoes, or a blanket will be full of love and will help them to have a little bit strength to face the next phase that's going to be harder.
Thank you, Angie. So, Angie, by profession, what do you do?
I'm a lawyer and I'm a financial investigator.
Watch out. Watch out, friends, because she is on the lookout. So, you see, this is what a spiritist is. We have our professions, but we have our centers. We don't charge for anything. If you hear any spiritist charging, it's not a true spiritist. We don't charge. We don't ask for money. We don't live off of the center at all. okay? Because we have our professions. And if people don't, they have to find another way. So, well, we're ready for Angie, right? Meanwhile, our children will go to their rooms to begin another lesson about the world I want to live in. What world is that? Let's go inside with Miss Karen, Miss Daisy. All right? For those who have babies or toddlers, they can go to the baby room to watch from there. All right. I'll keep my camera. I'll see if I can connect to one of the sides of the room so you can keep contact with them. Okay, Angie? Since you have full control, she's also a Cardiac Radio's host on Thursdays. It used to be every Thursday. Now it's every 2 weeks, right? Every month.
It's once a month.
Once a month now.
Okay.
Yeah, because the demand is much, but she's still there with us. All right? Let me shift the camera here to see if there is a way for you to still see friends. Because looking at the wall is not fun. Though our side is just for your interaction, okay, Angie? With the friends here. Oh my. Is that okay, friends? Oh gosh, we have to find a way to.
Don't worry, Vanessa.
There you go. You know, it's so good when I give talks, so good to see the people who we're talking to, right?
Yeah.
Though we are Cardiac Radio are used to looking at our imagination. Angie, we're all yours, and those who are watching over the internet, they can also write and make comments, ask questions. Angie is here. She has full control of the room. So she will begin right now, right?
Yes, I can do that. So, my friends, thank you. Thank you, Vanessa, again for the opportunity to be here talking about Spiritism. So, Vanessa mentioned that she met me so many years ago, and it's true. And I remember we invited Vanessa to do the grand opening of our center in Manhattan, and she came, and I admire her. She traveled so far away from another state. I was like, my goodness, she's traveling from another state. That's amazing. For me, that was like in the beginning, I didn't know much about the message propagation and the need that we had to have speakers in English, because in Portuguese they are everywhere. At least in Miami, it's easier to get someone that can speak Portuguese about Spiritism. So she came and she gave an amazing lecture. I remember when she finished, I was like, oh my God. And I was thinking, when I grow up, I want to be like her. So much knowledge, but so friendly, and brought the message to our hearts. So this is how I met Vanessa, and I was like, wow, that was amazing. What an inspiration. Anyway, so today we are going to be talking about something that we all need to have. If we don't have, we need to develop, because it's really important in our lives in all the times. But in some moments, especially like the ones that we just mentioned about the tragedy of the floods in Brazil, you need to have this so you can be strong and start all over again. So I'm going to share my slides with you. And we are going to be talking about the power of resilience. Resilience is something that we all can develop. It's not that some people are born with it. Yes, maybe someone has it a little bit more natural, but it is important for us all to develop. So let's talk about it. So before we talk about resilience, I want to make sure you understand the difference between resilience and resistance. Resistance is also important, but sometimes resilience is really much more important. So, what is resistance? Resistance is the ability to not be affected by something, especially something negative. So, resistance is when you have strength, when something is really hard and can resist some kind of power. So, you see here this piece of wood. It's a very strong piece of wood, and the athlete is holding it. So, really straight piece of wood. But look what happened here. If you put too much strength, and if this is too hard, it's gonna break. And what happened to us when we are like this? Imagine you are facing a difficulty. You are facing, like, maybe someone that you loved very, very much, and this person did something awful to you, and you resist on fighting, for example, or you resist on talking about what the person did. So you're like, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to just resist my anger. I'm going to go against it. And you continue going, 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 but it will reach to a point that you're going to break it. You're going to break it. And maybe this breakdown can be in many different ways. Maybe it can be in a very negative way, and it's exactly what you didn't want to do. But look what the piece of wood does. The piece of wood that's actually not wood is a special plastic. It can resist the strength. They can resist the power imposed on it. And look how it does. It really goes very close to breaking, but it's different from the hard wood. It does not break. It has flexibility. And it is the piece of wood that helps the athlete to be imposed to jump those super, super high obstacles that they have to go through. So, resilience, the Oxford Dictionary says capacity to recover from the trauma. Toughness is elasticity and flexibility. So, this is what we need to develop. We need to be flexible. There are many times in our lives that to be hard and strong is not good. And this flexibility is what we have to develop if we don't have it yet. So look how beautiful here. Look at this beautiful tree. So the saying is, fell years ago, never gave up. So you can see it was already a very tall tree with this beautiful greenery, but it broke. For some reason, it broke, but some roots remained on the soil. And this few piece of root that remained was enough to make the tree to resist and continue living, facing the hardness of life. So it was together, resilience and resistance. And look how beautiful. The tree developed a way to continue growing, even more beautiful than in the past. And challenges are not punishments, but opportunities for spiritual growth. Resilience is the ability to embrace these challenges and then evolve. So, this is how we have to go through. Times in our lives there are so many difficulties that you think, I can't see this, I can't live through this, it's impossible. Another thing, never say never, and don't say it is impossible, because everything is possible. And also the word never is a very difficult word. Every time that I have said never, it actually happened. I remember many years ago, I said, oh, I will never date someone from the United States of America. I don't like this country. I wanted to go to Europe. Then I said, oh, I will never live in a cold place in my life. I live in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. I will stay here. Where I end up? In New York City. My husband is American from Brooklyn. So I was like, the word never is not good for me, because it's almost like if I want something to happen, I say never. And then boom, it happens. But we can go through everything and we can improve from that. So as you see, opportunities of growth. It's painful, it's difficult. We also have to understand that nothing happens by a chance. It's not that we are just going to go through a catastrophe because it happened, but there is something there, or it is connected to a previous lives, some things that we did, and now we have to go through it as a lesson, or it is a voluntary action that we wanted to be there to help somebody else, or it could also be that certain things brought us to that situation because of some kind of a spiritual need that we don't even know. But let's go through Superman. Look at this. This is my Superman. I was a child when I saw this movie, and I was absolutely enchanted with this man. He was like super powerful, handsome, with this blue eyes. So he is Christopher Reeve, and he got married in 1992, and I'm gonna explain to you why. So the first movie was in 1978. Here is his wife. Her name is Dana Reeve. She is really a beautiful soul, not physically only, but spiritually. And I'm going to explain why. So in 1995, 3 years after they got married, unfortunately, Christopher had a terrible accident. And while in a competition, he fell head first. He was going really fast to jump the highest of the obstacles when the horse stopped. And it stopped, but his body, Christopher's body, was imposed to the front. So he became tetraplegic, and he was only breathing artificially. In his mind, he said, I'm a burden, so I want euthanasia. So we know euthanasia is like when the doctor is going to put some substance in your body and it will stop working, and then you're going to die. So we also know in Spiritism that God gives us life and only God can remove it. So Christopher, he was not spiritist. He was not very spiritual. He never really thought much about it. And he was thinking very much about the physical. He was like, I cannot move. I can't even barely breathe. Why? I'm going to continue living. And my wife, for only 3 years, is going to have this problem throughout the life. That's what he thought. But then Dana, she told him, you are more than a body. I love you. Wait 2 years to decide. So I saw many interviews, and in this specific one, she told him, I don't want to go against his will, but I want to help him to change these ideas, because right now the only thing he thinks that he is a problem, but I love him whatever way he is. This was such a powerful way of demonstrating real love, not that love just because of the physical attraction or because of some kind of financial help, but the real love. And here we see both of them many years later. He is in a wheelchair, and he was able to even develop breathing on his own. And then why his wife is his guardian angel. You already know. He changed his mind. He understood that, yes, there is a problem. I have a problem, but I can improve this. And then what she was able to get him to understand. She was able to tell him, you can help others. So 9 years later, he died, but of a heart failure. It was not euthanasia. But through these 9 years, they both together, they did amazing things that changed the lives of thousands of people. So we are going to understand a little bit about it. One thing that it is funny, not funny, but it is like how these souls were so connected. You see, Dana, she died 17 months later. 17 months later, she was younger than him. The souls, they were connected. It's almost like they had a mission together. So a little bit over a year when he passed, she passed as well. And now they are in the spiritual realm, inspiring other souls to continue their mission here on earth. So before we talk about what they did together, let's talk about this. We need to understand also what is preoccupation. So preoccupation. So it's when the mind is previously occupied. It is with excessive occupation. Like every time we do something in excess, it's not good. We understand in spiritism that everything has to be a balance. When something is too much, it's not good. Too much food, too much diet, too much exercise, even too much water. Yes, too much water can also kill us. So anything that's in excess is not good. We need to have everything on balance. So when we do too much of occupying our minds with our problems or with other problems, this generates all kinds of physical imbalance. So if I lose my job, my mind says I can't pay my bills. It generates a stress. This is normal. We all went through this. We all went through sometimes that not related to a job itself, but throughout other things. Something happened and caused the stress in our life. So this is normal. But that's what he thought now. I'm paraplegic. I'm a burden. I'm bad at that. That's his mind. That's his thought. And what is occupation? Occupation is keeping our mind occupied, busy, not in excess, but in the balanced way. In the balanced way, I have to occupy my mind in order to overcome certain difficulties. And let's see how we could do it. For example, I might lose my job. Let's imagine someone that's thinking about losing the job because the company is already laying off everybody and you see problems every day. So you start thinking what could happen to you. So I will update my resume and I will take refreshing classes. This is one way. There are thousands of ways, but this is one way to occupy your mind in a good way, in a positive way, giving you possibilities to fight the issues in a best way possible. So here, that's what he said. I'm paraplegic. I'm a burden. Then you or someone else helps you to occupy your mind. And that's what Dana did. When he said, I'm a paraplegic, I'm a burden, he had this guardian angel that was his wife, but it can be a mother, can be a father, can be a best friend, can be even a doctor, anyone. And then says, you are more than your body. Do something to improve the condition. And she even said, do something to improve the condition of others. And then now we are going to watch a very short video that you can see him talking.
After the shock was gone, Reeve indulged into research about his injury and vowed to walk again by his 50th birthday. His confidence was rooted partly in studies of an antibody that, when combined with a nerve growth factor and administered to rats, facilitates regeneration of the spinal cord. In 1996, he established the Christopher Reeve Foundation, dedicated to finding treatments and cures for paralysis caused by spinal cord injury and to improving the quality of life for people living with disabilities. He practically became a crusader for people with spinal cord injuries. During his speech at the 1996 Academy Awards, Reeve urged the Hollywood community to make more movies about social issues.
You realize the power of film to present painful but important issues to the public.
Reeve also continued acting, and already in 1997, he made his directorial debut with HBO's In the Gloaming, which was nominated for 5 Emmy Awards, and 2 years later starred in a remake of Alfred Hitchcock's classic thriller, Rear Window, the Brooke Ellis.
So this is just a quick movie. I cut the speech just for you to see. That speech in the Oscars of 1996 is powerful. First of all, his accident was in 1995, and he spent basically the whole year in the house. He never left the house. And then he was invited to go there to give a speech, anything he wanted to talk about. And Dana told him, talk about what you are going through in a positive way, in a way that you can help people. And that's what he did. He said, what about we using movies to help people see harsh realities? So the movie industry started shifting, not just romances or futuristic things, but really showing the life struggles and how could help in many, many ways. So this was very, very powerful. And you also saw that the foundation that they created together that helped so many people, not just in the United States, but in many, many countries.
After the shock was gone, Reeve indulged into research about his injury and vowed to.
So now we are going to talk again about the preoccupation, occupation. Here, these two beautiful actors, that's Christopher and Robin Williams. Curiosity here, they both studied in New York City. They did a very famous universities for acting, and they were roommates. So they became best friends throughout lifetime. And then when Christopher got sick, there is a curiosity. When he got sick, his wife Dana called and told the situation, and he flew immediately to meet him when he was a little bit better. And then he did a sketch, an improvisation of someone in a wheelchair that had to go through all kinds of issues. And of course, you know, Robin was a very funny comedian. He was hilarious. And only him could make his best friend, Christopher, to laugh of the struggles that he was going through. I can just imagine how it was. But, you know, Christopher couldn't help Robin. We know unfortunately, what Robin Williams did. And he was going through a Parkinson's disease that nobody knew. It was a secret, and it was his internal pain. And unfortunately, he was going more or less like Christopher. I will become a burden to my wife. Why should I leave? I shouldn't. And unfortunately, we know he took his life. But this is one of his sentences. Everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Be kind always. So if you think about him, he was a comedian. Everyone expected him to make you to laugh. So it was a lot of pressure on him. He was supposed to be happy all the time. And unfortunately, he was going through this huge pain. And even his family didn't know what was going through his mind. But here we can see the beautiful foundation that Dana and Christopher created. So unfortunately, Robin went just through preoccupation, maybe because he didn't have an angel like Dana. We don't know. He wasn't able to be strong enough to overcome his issues. But the Christopher and Dana occupied their mind, and they created this foundation that helped thousands and thousands of people. And the Christopher traveled around the United States and even in certain countries to raise funds. He was always raising funds with gala dinners. You know, he was a movie actor. He was very famous. So he had powerful contacts that could go to these gala dinners, paying thousands of dollars and helping people throughout the world. So now we're going to go through a little bit of our beautiful planet Earth. And we know it's still a planet that we feel that it is trials and expiations, even if we are already in the phase of regeneration. But if you know, this is a phase of the planet. It takes thousands of years. It's not like in 1-2 years the things will be better. We will face a lot of difficulties. So here we see a happy family enjoying a beautiful summer day. But then this could happen. It becomes a sad moment when they find out one of their children, one of their kids is having a hard time, has a very tough disease. It could be cancer, it could be anything. And this will bring stress, unhappiness. But you cannot stay there. We already said, occupy well your mind. So search for a cure, search for a therapy. And here we have our beautiful Chico Xavier, the Brazilian medium that was so powerful and loving. He was love in action all the time. So he mentions happiness or sadness are temporary. We cannot be happy forever and we cannot be sad forever. It also goes up and down. Remember, let's keep our balance so we can improve. And we need to develop patience and resignation. Not easy. Not easy. Patience, why? Because we always we are in this fast world. Everything is quick. Even when you send the messages or you receive message through WhatsApp, for example, you put the message in speed. You don't listen to the message at the one normal speed. You put even double. So, oh no, I need to listen to this quickly because I'm always in a hurry. That's not good. Yes, there are times that we are in a hurry, but we need to understand that there are certain things that we need to have patience. And for example, if you're going through some kind of chemotherapy, that's one thing. You need to go through that long process of treatment that your doctor is going to tell you. And why resignation? Because sometimes things are not going to be as they were before. Remember the resilience, the elasticity of that piece of plastic the actor uses, so it goes back to the place. But sometimes in real life, it doesn't. It doesn't go in the same way or shape it was. But the resilience will help us to understand I'm not exactly how I was before, but I overcame a lot of things. And I am good right now the way I am. Love yourself, understand your struggles, and continue doing good and continue helping others to do good as well. So another important thing for us to do, resilience. And then I will quickly talk about Helen Keller. You know, she was born in 1880 and she was normal, absolutely normal kid. In 1882, 2 years of age, she became blind and deaf. Here you see a picture of Helen and her tutor. And Helen went through all kinds of problems. She was a rebellious child. She was very difficult. But why? Because she didn't know how to express herself. And also the parents not understanding how to deal with her. What they did, they spoiled her. They did anything she wanted. So she wouldn't complain. She wouldn't scream. She wouldn't do all kinds of things, especially in front of others, until one day that she finally met this incredible tutor. So I have here, like, this is a book. You know, all the American kids, they hear about her. They always study about Helen Keller. If you go now and you talk to your children, have you heard of Helen Keller? They will say yes, because in school they teach about her life. And her tutor is Anne Sullivan. She was just 20, and she was part of the School of Blinds because she also had the difficulties. And here is Helen in the future. She quickly learned. She learned so much. She was so extremely bright. But it was because of her tutor that she was able to get out of the shell she lived. And many times in many videos that I watched, she talked about the powerful moment where her teacher, Anna, she put her hand in water, and in the other hand, she was spelling the word water in her hand. I have to tell you the truth. I didn't know it is possible to spell words in hands and to understand the words touching the mouth. Because for us, that we don't go through it, we don't know. But it is possible. And she learned so much. And she, like Christopher, she traveled all over helping others to understand the difficulties that she faced and millions of people faced. So look at here. This is just for you to have an understanding of all the things she did. She did much more. This is like a summary. So she was the first deaf-blind person in the world to graduate from college. Not just a little college, but Harvard University. So she made the Braille standardized. There are many different types. I also didn't know that. So they couldn't even communicate. Even if they knew the language, they couldn't communicate. So she was an early proponent of birth control when church said that you have to have as many kids as God gave it to you. And co-founded of the American Civil Liberties Union in 1920, advocate for the disabled, workers, and women's rights, author of 14 books and hundreds of articles, and public speaker who travel to 35 countries. Isn't that amazing? And she was not rich. Yes, her family was not poor either, but she had to work as a public speaker in order to raise funds to be able to keep her and her helper, because she had to travel with a teacher. And when her best friend teacher and she died, she had to have another person to help her to continue her mission. This is a little video about her life.
In this room sits a remarkable woman. She's Miss Helen Keller.
She felt the vibration of the spoken word. She feels the G, the hard G. The. On the lips, she feels the B. I am not dumb now. No.
W-A-T-E-R, water. It has a name.
So as the last sentence, alone we can do little, together we can do so much. And this is what happens here, for example. Like I know there you also do many things for the homeless. And do you know one person can do a little, but 10 people can do so much more. And together we can always improve not just our lives, but the lives of so many other people. And now let's go through love, forgiveness, and charity. These are the Spiritist principles. We know that this beautiful book, The Gospel According to Spiritism, brings so many teachings. Like if you're going through a hard time, if you're going through depression, if you're going through all kinds of issues, this is the best book to help you. And we should tell this to our friends too. There are so many books nowadays of self-help, self-guidance, self all kinds of things. Yes, they are good. They are good, really. But the gospel helps us in a deeper way. When we read and you know, there are many of the Jesus teachings, many of Jesus passage that sometimes you read and you are like, you have no idea, you don't understand, because sometimes it is hard. And in this book it brings this light. You have that aha moment and you finally understand. So here's our Master Jesus, and help us to develop our inner strength, the compassion towards others, and the sense of universal family. So we know our Master Jesus is our dear brother that came to earth to give us so many teachings, to help us, to inspire us to improve. He didn't come here to make us to get all our issues and we can start all over. No, it was not that. He came here to teach us how to do better, to make us to understand what we are doing wrong and how can we improve from it. And then many missionaries were sent. Many missionaries. I wish I could talk about each single one, but they are very famous. You know a little bit about all of them. Mahatma Gandhi, he was able to free his whole country, India, in a peaceful movement. He did lots and lots of hunger strikes and many other things, and he conducted his whole people to say, do not fight. In the time was England that was the dominating country. And finally, he was able to free his country. Then we have Martin Luther King Jr. here in America, in the time that the oppression was tremendous. You know, the Black community, they had to live through horrible rules. That was so difficult. Like even in the same bus, they couldn't sit in the same location where the white people sit. So they mentioned that you had to come through the front of the bus, and the first seats were to the white, and the Black people had to sit in the back. And why? Why this? But Martin Luther King also understood that he had to rebel against these rules. He had to bring rights to his own people. And it was difficult when the white ones were the ultimate power that had no compassion and no understanding. And he was able to deliver that powerful speech in Washington that when we listen, we are like, oh my God, his words were amazing. really, really an inspired human being. We also have Nelson Mandela, who was able to free South Africa throughout the segregation of so many years. Then he was put, before this happened, he was rebellious, trying to fight against the government and all kinds of things. He ended up put in jail. And if I remember correctly, he was 40 years in jail. Can you imagine this? He was put there as a young man, and he spent most of his life in jail, and was not an easy jail. There is no easy jail, but if you think about, oh, they put you in jail and you stay locked there. No, there was torture. The soldiers did horrible things to him. Was a painful process. And when he left, the first thing he did was to forgive all the ones who made his life so, so difficult. And there is I know my time is tight, but there is a moment that he is having lunch in a restaurant with some of his close friends, and he looked to a table close to him, and there was a man that was like looking to the floor and feeling very, very uncomfortable. And then he told his friends, please invite that man to come to eat with us. And his friends were like, do you know him? And he said, oh, I know him. And then the friends like, oh, okay. So they invited him, and he's like, no, no, I don't want to go. No, no, no. And then Nelson turned and said, please, my friend, come. So the men finally came to the table. They all had dinner, and they continued their conversation, not imposing anything on him. His friends didn't even understand why he was not talking to the man. So they went through, they finished the food. His friends left, and he ended up for a few moments with the man, and he said, and he stand up, and basically he said, have a good day. And then he held his hand and said, why did you invite me here? And he said, because I want you to understand that I forgave you. And who was this man? He was the head of the jail. He was the man who imposed all kinds of mistreatments on him, or who discovered many, many things that were going on and never stopped. So in this demonstration of love, the jailer, the head of the jail, he felt so ashamed. He immediately started crying. And from that moment on, he changed and he became a friend of Nelson. So many things to tell us. And now I have two amazing women as well. We know Malala. Malala was shot. She was going to be killed. And she was able to overcome everything. And now she gives speeches all over the world about freedom for women. Women have the rights of work. Women have the rights of study. Yes, even in her own country. That's so difficult. But she fights for this. And we have Mother Teresa. She's like an angel that lived on earth. And Mother Teresa, she was taught that she had to go to the nuns' school, to the source, and they had to be in, I don't know how to say in English, incarcerated, I think, when they live only about themselves, and they cannot even talk because they have to be constantly in meditation, constantly in prayer. And very quickly she saw, this is not for me. Love of God, the love that Master Jesus taught us, is love in action. I have to get out. I have to help people on the streets. She managed to move to India, where she lived amongst the most poor people on earth. the ones that are rejected by all, the ones that are dying. I'm not sure if you know, but in India, there is a culture that they believe in reincarnation, but it's different than what we understand in Spiritism. They believe that if someone is going through a lot of issues, a lot of problems, it's because they were bad people in the previous life, and they have to go through the pain in this life. But different from Spiritism, we understand that yes, there is the law of action and reaction, there is reincarnation, but if we see someone going through pain and difficulties, we have to help. We can help because we can help the person to improve. This will help us and will help the person. But in India, they think if you touch someone that's going through a problem, that problem is passing to you. So this is something from thousands of years, part of their culture. So it's not easy to change like this. But Mother Teresa, she was not from India, and she understood, I'm here to help. So she had this huge community of women that were dedicated to God and dedicated to work hard. So she was really like a saint, a living saint, and so many others. But let's talk about the Spiritist philosophy that teaches us. Look how beautiful. From the dark to the light. This means the reincarnation. We live, we die, we are born again. Every time we come back, it's an improved version of ourselves. We become better because through a lifetime, many things will improve. And one day we will be pure light. It takes millions of years. Don't think in 10 reincarnations you can do that. But in 10 reincarnations, you can improve a lot. But remember, we have free will, and we have to know how to use it well. Again, the beautiful books that help us, the books from Spiritism, the Spirit's book that has so many answers. This is a very thick book, but you don't need to read from the beginning to the end. If you don't have patience to read like this, you can just open the book and read what it is, or go to the table of contents and search a subject that you find more interesting and read to understand what the Spirit brought to us through Allan Kardec, bringing the codification to life. This will help you. So here, like a little summary. We are immortal souls. We live many lives, reincarnation. Nothing happens by a chance. The law of action and reaction. The pain teaches us. This is a learning process. And yes, many times it's painful. We are never alone. We have our guardian angel. He's always inspiring us. But she will not change our free will. They will try to help us to be better. They will send inspirations, but we have to take the final decision. And most of all, faith in God. God is our loving mother and father. And here we have 3 beautiful mediums that inspire the world. We have Chico Xavier from Minas Gerais. We have Divaldo Franco from Bahia in Brazil. And we have José Teixeira, who is from Rio de Janeiro, my city. And these souls, Chico Xavier is already deceased, but Divaldo Franco is, I don't know, it's 96 or 97, and is still active. And he was here in Florida a few weeks ago. He was here talking about so many beautiful things, and all of them, Divaldo and José Raul, they have institutions that help kids, that help parents, that help families, and also Spiritist centers. So if we can teach Spiritism, but as they both say, we need to help the physical body as well. They provide food, they provide the schools, and they provide the teachings that help these little kids teach their families, they can improve so much. So they lived and they live like what they preached. So it's not just important to talk, but important to do. And this is the last one that will be my next lecture. I will make a comparison of Jerônimo Mendonça. It's called the Lion Giant from Minas Gerais, and he is very similar to the problem of Christopher Reeve. He also, in a very young age, became paraplegic throughout all kinds of problems. And different from Christopher, he was not rich, he was not powerful, he was not famous, but he had many little angels in his life. His family was very big. His mother was very loving, and all the family helped him to go through his disease, traveling Brazil in a very simple way. And very simple as he is, he was able to open schools, to open nurseries, to create spirit centers, and continue his loving mission. So, finalizing the lecture, I know about the time. So, in spite of everything, I still believe that people are really good at heart. And frank, we also know about this little girl, very famous. The other ones tell yourself every day that this, no matter how hard it is, no matter how hard it gets, I'm going to make it. So this is my message for today. Thank you so much. And remember, we can do it. And we have to be resistant and resilient, but we can do it, and we can inspire others to live better and to overcome whatever problem they are facing or what we are facing. Thank you. Well, if there is nobody there, I can take it from here. Are there any questions? Vanessa, I'm coordinating virtually.
That's why I feel so good. I know you're on it. I remember, Angie, when you guys used to visit the nursing homes in New York, and you would dress up, right? I will never forget the Carmen Miranda. Oh my Lord, only Angie, man. Right? The whole 20 yards.
I continue doing it here. We are doing now June 23rd. We did it last year. We have done the year moved here 2017, then 2018, then 2019 they canceled because of pandemic had started, they had already closed, and then last year they opened again, so we returned, and now June 23rd we are doing again.
That's beautiful. So friends, talking about the power of resilience, so important, huh? Who would like to ask a question to Angie? Anybody has a question for her? Nothing related to legal systems, finances.
It's not a question.
Yeah.
Sort of comment about how Angie kind of molded other people outside of Spiritism into what we're always taught to do, to help everybody else. picked out Christopher Reeve and his wife, and Helen Keller, Mahatma Gandhi, all those people that followed these principles. And it's great to see that coherence preaching by the talk.
You're right. It's interesting when you talk about Christopher Reeve. I met him in person. Yes.
Oh my
I did. Just like this. He was already on his wheelchair. He looked like a doll because he couldn't say anything. He was on his chair. His wife was there. But he was so helpful to the advancements of neuroscience when we had the wrap up of the Decade of the Brain, the year 2000. Some of us neuroscientists were invited to get together in Washington with the Senator Kennedy, when he was still here. Christopher Reeves was there, and we were wrapping up the Decade of the Brain in the US. Not that we finished it, but he was great part of the advancements to it. And now it's Michael J. Fox because of Parkinson. He has also done a whole lot to the advancements helping people with the neurodegenerative diseases. So it's good to see that people are waking up to the greater good, right? So,
And one thing is, I mentioned all these famous people because they are the ones that are in the spotlight. But there are thousands of people that nobody knows about them, but they are able to inspire people to do things also. So many people, like even throughout the problem in Rio Grande do Sul, they interviewed a lot of people who mentioned, yes, we lost everything, but I got my wife and my kids, so it's okay. We are gonna start all over. It is an inspiration because there are others who are still in the desperate mode, and I understand it. I can't even imagine losing everything, but this is the type of inspiration we need to have. We will get better somehow. And I mentioned the famous people because that's the ones we all know, but there are many little ones that nobody knows, and they continue doing it.
exactly. So Angie brought to us this awareness. Let us keep this in mind and know that without God, there's no resilience. We can try, but only God gives us the power of resilience, right? Right, Angie?
Yes,
Right?
we have to have this within us so we can help the others as well.
Exactly. Anybody else? Yes, it's a special session for us. Pre-Memorial Day. We're thinking, oh, Memorial Day, I'm going to relax. Yes, and helping people in some way, right? Our homeless service is going to be on that weekend. And beyond that, you don't need the center to do the good. You can do it on your own, you know? Don't wait for us to do it. Because we can do it, but so much. But you can do much more. Go ahead, go crazy about doing the good. Right? And when people look around and say, why you're doing it, don't even answer. Just keep doing it. Keep doing it. Keep doing the good wherever we are. Because time flies. You know, right? Let me just add one comment here for us. We are still in a world of tests, of atonements. We can't expect to be in heaven on earth. We can't wake up any day thinking, I'm controlling everything, everything's going so well, and thinking that life here is going to be great. That is an illusion. So, Vanessa, should we be pessimistic? No. Look at Angie. She's always optimistic. Why? Because God is in control. I don't need to control. But what should I expect to help? If I focus on I can help, my problems disappear overnight. If I expect others to help me, I'll be depressed, frustrated. If I expect to have no problems, it's just childish inside of us. I hope for the best, and I pray that I can help others wherever I am, right? And that's where the power of resilience comes in. So we're just together here with this beautiful energy that Angie is bringing to us, of joy, of optimism, of this power within to help one another and make humanity really resilient, right?
Yay!
So we're looking forward for her to come here in person, right, friends? Say it. Yes. Yes, we do. We do. All right, Angie, we thank you so much. Now, thank you so very much for being here with us, for your time, for your inspiration, for the great works you do. You know, though we are in separate states, we're together. It's about frequency. So it's so important to stay where we are working. When I see Angie doing this there, ooh, I feel like, wow, we're together. We're together. So that's why we can't stop anywhere and everywhere we go, right?
Exactly. Anywhere. Anywhere.
Thank you, Angie. We wish you many blessings. Everybody's here thanking you very, very much for your presence, right, friends? Thank you, Angie. Thank you, Angie.
Thank you, everybody. God bless you all.
Thank you, Angie. And now we're going to go through the passes. We're going to dim the lights, call you up, and do the passes, okay?
Thank you, Vanessa.
Thank
God bless
you.
you. See you soon.
I'll see you. Bye-bye. Thank you,
Bye.
Angie.
Bye, everybody.
You see people like Helen Keller, especially in their helping people. Do you have any skills?
Right. That is all now. Help one another by visualizing the spirit doctors, nurses, and therapists who came here to deliver the treatment that we need, the energy that we need for our protection, for our strength, for our balance. Let us feel their love and rejoice. Let us keep helping one another by visualizing flowers. Flowers of healing being distributed to everyone. Let's receive these flowers that are brought by the spirit mentors. Smelling, inhaling the perfume of healing that permeates our minds and bodies. Enveloping our minds and bodies with healing, profound healing. Let us all now visualize Dr. Bezerra de Menezes here with us. If you don't know him, visualize a spirit doctor. Their loving hearts, giving to us the medication that we need to heal profoundly. Let us now keep helping one another by visualizing a waterfalls of healing light falling upon us, showering us with new vitality, with love, protection for us, our homes, and everyone who is in our spiritual network. Let us visualize Master Jesus in front of us. He is our best friend. He knows why we are here in this reincarnation. He's helping us. Let's visualize that his heart is emanating pure light, the light of love. Mary bless, the Mother of all mothers, who takes care of everyone on earth, feeling her blanket of protection, put on us, enveloping us, you life. Okay, so let's visualize Jesus, our best friend. Visualizing his beautiful smile looking at us. And from his loving heart, rays of healing, of protection and strength are enveloping all of us. So now let us visualize Jesus. He is our best friend, the governor of the planet. He knows exactly why we're reincarnated. And his loving heart is sending out light of protection, of strength, of joy of living for all of us. So let us visualize our best friend. Who's our best friend? Jesus. First and foremost, Jesus, our best friend. His loving heart sends right now loving rays of light, enveloping all of us in protection, strength, much joy of living. Let us all visualize Master Jesus with us. He's giving his loving heart, his light to help us, protect us, strengthen us. Let us all now raise our thoughts to God. Let us visualize the light of God enveloping us in our homes. Let us open the door of our homes to God, visualizing God's messengers entering our homes, helping everyone who is in need, helping both realms, incarnates and discarnates. We don't need to direct God for his designs, but surrender to them. Let us feel that flowers of healing are placed on our dining table. Let us breathe in and out the healing air and visualize the light of God enveloping all of us. Thank you, God, for another day, for the gift of Spiritism and the Spiritist Society of Virginia. May our children's schools be blessed. May everyone we encounter in our workplaces feel your presence. May we become more holy with you in loving actions, loving words, loving thoughts, loving feelings. Thank you, God. With your permission, we close our service, willing to stay connected with you 24/7, and so be it.